So today I'm going to tell you about how these cheap batteries almost ruined the documentary I was working on. If you're looking into buying a Komodo, renting a Komodo, or you already own one, this video is going to help you and let you understand what are the downfalls of using cheap batteries. Also, as we go through this video, I'm going to explain some better battery solutions that you can use that will help you with the Komodo, and it will probably help you last and shoot all day. So first off, with my situation, I do own a RED Komodo, and I chose to go with some of the cheaper batteries because at the price point that you can get the cheaper batteries at, it's almost a no-brainer. For the price of one Canon BP battery, I can get 3 sets of these cheaper batteries. Now, let me be honest, with this kind of sacrifice, there does come downfall, and I found it out very early. Now, this was something that I did hear from another friend that I have that own a Komodo, and that is Brandon Washington. So if you want to check out some of his videos, he do explain a lot also about this camera if you're thinking about purchasing it. So go ahead, hit the link and check out his videos if you have more questions after watching this. But for me, it happened on set, so I got hands-on experience of what could happen if you're not aware of the batteries you are using. Now, there's nothing wrong with these cheaper battery solutions if you choose the right wattage of output so you don't fry your camera. Now, there is some hiccups that can happen with these batteries for very simple reasons that I will explain. So the biggest thing with these cheaper batteries, they will not give you a readout on the screen. So when you're looking at your RED Komodo, you're not going to get an actual readout. And even when the Komodo boots on and it's aware that you have these cheaper batteries, it would ask you to say, hey, you're using unapproved batteries and you're gonna have to hit okay. Now, at this point, it's kind of like on you to make sure you don't fry your camera. But like I say, if you know how much wattage you need for this camera, then you should be fine. And there are some batteries that are approved by RED or have been used by users that have said that there's no problem with them. But that doesn't mean that they are officially RED approved. So you do have some official RED approved batteries, and then you have some batteries that people have used on cameras. Let's just cut to the chase. So with the cheaper batteries, the issue is that you don't have an indicator to let you know when the batteries are low. So the RED will not recognize when the batteries are low. And also, you don't have like those extra buttons like the Canon BPs will have, or like Blue Shape, I think, makes some, or even your V-mounts will. And that's the issue. If you don't know when your camera's gonna cut off, that could be very bad when dealing with the RED Komodo. So when shooting this documentary, there were very long takes that I use. I pretty much don't cut when I'm doing an interview and I just let the camera run. Well, the batteries I was using, I didn't know that they wasn't fully charged. I forgot that I had used them for a job before. And I threw them on a charger, but when I did pick them off the charger, I did notice that they wasn't fully charged. And with that said, I don't honestly know how long a battery life I will have left because there's no indicator. So as you're shooting, the Komodo's not gonna tell you because it doesn't recognize it and you can't check. But the problem comes in when the camera boots down because the battery is low. So it will blow your mind how it happens because you will think, okay, the battery booted down because the battery is low, I'm okay. No, literally, no matter how long that file is done. Like, done. Doesn't exist, corrupted, not there, can't use it. No matter if it's 5, 10, 30 minutes, that clip is done. So, being aware of that, if you do use cheaper batteries, try not to do too many long clips if you're not sure where your battery life is. Now, the second thing that makes it so weird, the camera will boot down, kill your clip basically, and when you turn it off and turn it back on, the camera will boot up as if nothing's wrong. You will still think you have battery life. You will go and change your settings, maybe even drop down to a lower resolution because you know you're low on battery. So you're trying to help the camera not have to use as much power, and you're still gonna have it happen again. Or you may get a little 2 to 3 minute clips out of it, but eventually that is going to power down again. And there's no indicator to let you know at this point. So if you come across this problem, let me let you know it's your battery. It's okay to use these cheaper batteries, I would say. And this is just my personal opinion. Some people will say, well, if you're buying this expensive a camera, well, why would you use cheaper batteries? Well, I'm going to just be honest. Canon BP batteries, I can get 3 sets of the cheaper YCB batteries, the bigger ones, 3 pairs of them with chargers for the same price. Now, if you're working on some major project, this is probably not your best solution. It's usually when I'm running the gun and I'm going to use these. Usually when I'm on sticks and I'm going to be doing something for a longer form like a dock, I would switch to something more heavier like my V-mounts. And the good thing, most V-mounts do have indicators on them so you can see your charging. And I mean, one of these, a 160 could last you all day for sure. But it just depends. How light do you want to be? What type of setup are you running? And with that said, I mean, one of these can last you all day, but you can get 2 sets of these, maybe 3 sets, and these will last you all day. But like I said, if you do that, make sure they're fully charged. Okay, so with me telling you what's bad and what happened, let me give you a couple solutions to make sure this never happens to you. So there's a couple different ways you can go about this. One thing is, if you're going to go with the cheaper batteries, make sure to have plenty of them. And make sure that every time you charge them that you don't bring them out unless they're fully charged. Because then you know, at least off of one of the smaller BPs, you can get about an hour and you're probably going to get an hour and a half off of these. And I would just set a timer or pay attention to what you're shooting. And when you get to an hour, no matter how much more you need to shoot, pull it away. And if you get to an hour and a half with this, and pull it off and switch them out. And if you're going to go with the cheaper ones, make sure that you're running 2 on there at all times. I would definitely go with that solution. Now, if you have a little bit more money, I would definitely recommend going with some of the Canons or the Blue Shapes that actually have indicators on the back. And there may be others. I think there are a few other companies, and I'll list them to the side. Go with one of those that you know your battery level. And that's if you need to go lightweight run and gun, because you want the BP style so you can get in and out of places. You don't have to add rails, no cables, just slap them on the back and go. If you're okay with being fully rigged out, you want a little more weight, and you want to make sure that you don't have to worry about switching batteries at all, you can definitely always go with some type of V-mount or gold mount situation. I'm a gold mount user, but you don't even have to go with the bigger versions. They do sell micro versions of these, and you can also get a battery plate for the back of your camera. But how I run it is with a tilt-to-gold mount plate, and I put it on rails and I like kind of slide it. It goes into a D-tap, and this battery will last me like literally 2 shoots if I want to, so 2 days. And like I say, I can always check and see where my battery life is. So if it's getting low, I can go in, shut down, switch out, and keep it going. So those are going to be your best solutions for batteries at those different tiers. If you're thinking about getting a RED or you own a RED, I would definitely recommend you go to RED User and read some of the forums about the Komodos, what batteries people have used and been approved and have the best and right wattage. And take some time to actually study what works for you. Like I said, for me in this solution, I do use the cheaper batteries sometimes. I do have some of the batteries with indicators on order coming from Blue Shape. So those are going to be my next go-to. And then the cheaper batteries become backups. But you have to choose what works best for you. And I'm not telling you that you have to spend a lot. It's your camera. Do what works for you, what gets you through the day. And I mean, make sure you don't ruin a project. So if it takes you spending a little bit more money, that's what you're going to have to do. That's my thing. If I'm doing a bigger project, I'm not going to use these cheaper BP batteries. I'm going to actually bulk it up, put some V-mounts on it, or get me a micro V-mount and make sure that I can take care of the job for the client and I don't have an issue. This was just something that I ran into on a documentary early on using my RED. This was like in the first month of owning this camera. and I've definitely owned this camera for over 4 months now, so I'm finally learning some of the nicks and hicks and hiccups that it can have. But for the most part, this is a really great camera. So if you're looking into this camera, understand that it can be very expensive with some of the accessories, but there are a lot of ways that you can get to a spot where this camera is not incredibly expensive like the old RED. This is a great entry level for anybody that wants to get in cinema and wants to get in at that RED level. Now, I hope this answered most of your questions, but if I didn't get to your question, please leave a comment below. And if you have anything that you can help this community out of RED users and other filmmakers that's thinking about getting this camera, please leave it in the comments. Let's make sure that we're helping each other get used to using this camera. This camera is very new, so there's still a lot of questions out there. There's still updates coming out. There actually was an update 2 days ago. So look out for my next video that I'm putting out to kind of touch on that update that happened and some of the things that I'm going to be using that for. But yes, if you're here, leave a comment, help someone out. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you like, what you didn't like. And if I missed something, go ahead and leave it there and I'll respond back and let you know, or I will test it out for you. But once again, thanks for watching. This is Sticks and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.